Hey, what's up everyone? Life for God here with you guys. I hope you all are doing pretty good. I just kind of wanted to make a video, follow-up to the last video I did about how to preload the open beta. Now, you probably have been seeing a little bit of footage and stuff like that, but I just kind of wanted to make a video on what to expect when you actually jump into the open beta tomorrow, which is the 6th, which is free to everyone. So if you haven't had access to it, I understand sometimes it's frustrating. Sometimes you really want to play the game because everyone else is playing it, but you know what, you're going to be able to play it tomorrow, and I just kind of wanted to throw a video together so you guys can know what to expect when you get into this pretty cool little experience that you have with EA and DICE and their new installment in the Battlefield 5 series. But first of all, I kind of want to just say thank you to everyone who watched my last video on the preload. I'm an absolutely very small channel here on YouTube, and for all the attention and the views and the comments and the likes, that was awesome for me to see. You know, and like I said, I'm absolutely a small channel here on YouTube, but I've been getting quite a few views from, you know, for my kind of videos and my channel. So just kind of wanted to get that out of the way and just thank you guys for all the support and stuff. Well, anyway, what you guys can expect when you get into this game, and now it's going to be more of a for beginners or those that are new to the franchise. But if you're a Battlefield 5 or a Battlefield veteran, you can stick around and you can see what, you know, the menus look like, what to expect. So first and foremost, you're going to be able to jump right into, you're going to get a splash screen, kind of like what you saw in Battlefield 1 with you know, you log in and stuff like that. So this is going to be what the screen is going to look like when you get into it. You're going to be able to play, and you're going to be able to play two different types of maps and two different types of game modes. One is going to be Grand Operations, which you can see right there, and it's going to take place in Narvik, Norway. It's going to be on the map Artic Fyjord, which I covered that in one of my earlier videos. I'll probably put a link in the description talking about what to expect and stuff like that, and what I thought was going to happen. Things have changed just a little bit in certain aspects, but it seems pretty cool. So you can play, you get a thing called your company armory assignments. Assignments is something that you're going to want to go ahead and look at because it actually gives you daily bonuses. It gives you quite a bit of XP, which you can start upgrading some of your weapons. You do have to level your weapon up first, but you can actually purchase stuff with the with all the XP, and you get like these little, you get money to spend in the game, which I've already upgraded quite a few weapons. Well, not quite a few, but I think like 2 or 3 of them. So it's pretty neat to actually see that, and then you'll see there's a message there saying there's matchmaking issues, which is pretty cool. You know, they're keeping you updated, which I wish sometimes communication, you know, it's lacking in certain areas. Like, for instance, that's why I made the preload video, because I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing, but you know, to download the game, and I know a lot of people have had problems and issues with that. So hopefully, you guys have gotten that situated and taken care of. So you see one of these things called a Tides of War event. It's similar to what happened in Battlefield 1 with the dog tags, that you're a beta participant and stuff like that. So you can actually go into there. I've almost completed that. I just need to get a win on Grand Operations, so hopefully you guys will be able to you know, get a win on there and take care of that. So then you can pre-order it, and then you got some news on down from the line here. You can't really see it in this video, but yeah, these are some of the stuff that you can look at. Assignments, that's one thing, that there's daily assignments, and then there's getting stuff done like for your class and stuff. It's really similar to a lot of stuff that we saw in Battlefield 1, and like I said, there's going to be 4 different options, and I'll probably have to put that here, and I'll put that up here in a little bit. It's 4 different options. I suggest go ahead and just filling up your 4 different little screens and stuff like that. It tells you, it's like a metal tracker in Battlefield 1. So you go ahead and fill those up, and you can start seeing that you've accomplished stuff and gotten the XP, and you can actually get the money. I don't know what it's called in this game, but you can spend that on camo, and you can spend that on some of the weapons in the game. So that's pretty cool to actually jump in there and start seeing some of the different things. Here's a look at, oh, and I want to tell you guys, the open beta is going to be available until September the 11th. So you guys got plenty of time to get all these things done. Like I said, here is the Tides of War event, which, let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to do a couple things at once here. And you see there, it's actually Tides of War has 7 days left on it, and I think it's just for another dog tag. It's just to prove that you've actually completed what you're supposed to do before the game came out. And let's see, and you can see you can see over on the right, daily orders. Kill recon soldiers, got 3 of them. So I've completed all 3 of those daily orders, which is going to be, I think. I could be mistaken, but when I got in there last, I had 3 hours until it reset and gave me another set of daily orders. And then it says play around on Conquest, which is going to be absolutely easy for anyone to accomplish that. 300 points of assault damage, assault rifle, which is the STG-44, the standard weapon for assault class here in the game. So let's see, let's go ahead and go into the shock troops and have a look at what you have to accomplish to get the reward, which is just the dog tag for the beta. So the first one is Forlorn Hope, which is kill 15 enemies, and you actually get 7,000 chapter XP, so that's pretty good on that. And then Berserker, capture 5 points on Artic Fyjord, which you're going to be able to do that in Conquest. You just capture them and it'll be pretty easy. So that's 14,000 XP, so you guys would definitely want to do that. Join the fight. This was a little bit tougher, and hopefully I got the video of it was tough when you had to arm the bomb in one of the maps, and we actually did it because I had a pretty good squad, but after that it stunk. You know, it had a squad that just wanted to stay back and camp on a little hill, which was doing us no good, because when you actually play Grand Operations, the first one, and I'll kind of touch that a little bit later on, the first part of the map, when you're British soldiers, you have to arm the bomb and take out some coastal guns, shoreline guns. I think they're like the Big Bertha guns that, you know, back in the war they boasted that could reach from Berlin all the way to Paris and stuff like that. So we had to destroy those, but the enemy can actually see where you are if you're carrying the bomb itself. So you have to have really good help. You have to have a really good squad. And like I said, when I had those people that are on my team that were just camping on a little hill that was overlooking one of the Big Bertha weapons. I think it's a Big Bertha, but it's a shoreline weapon to halt the assault from the British side. And yeah, it was pretty tough to actually get that done. So anyway, here we are with Shock and Awe. Capture 2 points of Rotterdam, which you're going to be able to do. You can only play Conquest on the Rotterdam map, which is the Dutch map, the one in Holland, but that's going to be pretty easy. So the last one, now this is the hardest one, because if you don't have a good squad, is a win 1 Grand Operation, 27,000 XP, so that's actually really good. So yeah, hoping that you have a good squad on that is going to be pretty tough. Like I said, if you have a team that just wants to sit back and you know, not play the objective like you're supposed to. All right, so yeah, I think that's it for that right there. Like I said, you are going to be able to play on 2 different maps. Narvik, you can actually play Conquest. I didn't find that out until later on. I thought you could actually only play that Grand Operations. Now, Grand Operations is what I touch base on in one of my other videos for Battlefield 5 and getting ready to join the fight. It's Grand Operations. It takes place in 2 days, so you're going to be playing 2 different rounds. It's going to be a long game, but it's a pretty fun and exciting game if you have a good squad with you and a good team. So Grand Operations, what can you expect from there? This is the one that you actually saw a lot of alpha videos from, like, popular YouTubers like Jack Frag, Angry Joe Show, and I believe Level Cap was doing some of that stuff too. So I like to be told, like, you know, exactly what's going on and what's happening and stuff like that. So I jumped into a game that was already taking place, and most times you will actually just jump into a game that is already in progress. So don't fret about that. But the first part of this game is if you're the British side, you're actually supposed to take over Narvik. This is the offensive to begin the liberation of Norway. So you'll be jumping in a plane, which is actually pretty cool. But you know, when you jump in there, you're not knowing what you're doing. It's like, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? So that's kind of what I wanted to make this video, so you guys can know a little bit more of what's happening. So you'll be jumping in a plane. You're supposed to take the beachhead, which is, you know, part of that, destroying those big shoreline weapons. And let's see if I can find that video that I was looking for. Oh, here it is. Okay, so it goes through a little bit of you know, telling you these howitzers. I don't think it's actually the Big Bertha now that I'm looking at it, but it's one of those weapons that is supposed to stop the British from, you know, invading Norway or liberating it. So you're in a plane, and then the thing is, like, you kind of just, it just throws you in there and doesn't tell you really what to do. And like, you know, most people will just jump in there and just want to play the game. But you'll be in a plane. Your objective is to blow up these guns. So you have to pick up these bombs that are laying around the map, there's only 2 of them. And like I said, the enemy can actually see you when you're carrying it. So you have to be behind using some of your teammates as shields and stuff. I try to do that, but you know, if your teammates are all looking in one direction and everyone else on the map on the enemy team can see you, it's not really that exciting. But you do get XP for it. I forgot how much XP you get for picking up the bomb. I think it's actually 60 or 50. I'm sorry, not XP, but points in the game. So you'll drop in, and on the opposite side, the Germans, you have these flak guns, which is awesome. You can actually take out airplanes pretty decently. It does a decent job of being balanced. I wish it could take it out a little bit more, because you know, flak weapons back in the day were really powerful against airplanes. So you go ahead and just jump out wherever you want. But once you start seeing that it's time for you to immediately jump out, you got to get out of there, because I got destroyed when I wanted to wait just a little bit longer. But yeah, I didn't have a chance to do that. So this is it's going to be at nighttime. It's going to be at Narvik, and you're going to kind of advance like rush mode did. Rush mode, it's not really going to show you that how it was in rush mode, where it had different sectors and it would highlight them and stuff. At least I didn't see it. I guess I was just on the field. I don't know if it shows you when you're dead, but you have to advance, and then you finally take it over, and then the next part of the 2-day operation is going into day mode. Now day mode is just about capturing. You don't have to blow anything up, you just got to capture the points. So it's kind of just showcasing what the game is actually like, you know, wanting to show you and stuff like that. Now one issue I did have with this, and this is just me, I was playing as a tanker, and you know, you see movies like Saving Private Ryan and a lot of all these other movies, and you're just like, oh my goodness, here comes a tank, you better move out of the way. Well, in this game, it's just the same issue that's been there for a while now. It's plagued the Battlefield games. You can't actually, you know, when you're a tank, you're supposed to just be able to run over stuff and be this awesome monster that everyone wants to run away from. But in the Battlefield franchise, everyone runs towards it if you have grenades or dynamite and stuff like that. I got stuck on a couple of different places, and I didn't like that much. I didn't like the fact that, yeah, I couldn't run over the small little foundation that was left on the house because I was stuck on it. And then my gun is pointing up in the air, so I can't shoot any of the enemies that are right around me, and I got destroyed straight away. So that's one thing I was like, nah, that's that's not how it's supposed to be with the tank. Yeah, sometimes it's OP, sometimes overpowered, but if you have a good squad, then you can actually destroy it. But if you're stuck on the foundation of a house that's just barely, you know, nothing is left of it, then you know, you shouldn't be destroyed that quickly. Now, another issue I had with it, which is you know, a good thing and a bad thing. If you played World at War, or I'm sorry, World of Tanks, then you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. This next part is that your turret, actually, you can't shoot it, like, you won't be accurate if you're moving or you're bouncing up and down. Like I said, when you're running over these places that don't, you know, make you, you're bouncing up and down, you're sliding all over the place. Your turret, your cursor for your turret is just bouncing and moving and stuff, so you're not going to be accurate on your shots, and that's something I didn't like. It is a good feature to have. Instead of you know, making the tank completely overpowered, you do have to kind of balance out your turret and your view, so your turret is catching up to actually where you're looking at. So if you're looking off in the wrong, you know, your turret's off to the left, and all of a sudden you turn your view to the right, you're gonna have to wait for it to catch up to you. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind. And yeah, the tanks are pretty good. I just don't like the fact that you can't really roll into their place and then and then just kind of be that monstrosity that it was back in the day. So what else on this map? So this is day 2 of the Narvik Grand Operations, and this is the one that you have to win. You have to win a game of this, so you'll have to win the first night and then the day afterward in order to get that Battlefield 5 dog tag beta. So this is one thing that you want to just keep in mind, that the first day is kind of like Rush, where you have to arm the bomb, and then the second day is like Conquest. So So those are things that, to keep in mind. Now on Rotterdam, I had a hard time jumping into it. I don't know if it was available straight away at 4 o'clock in the morning, but I jumped in about 8 o'clock yesterday morning to get in there and before work, because I had to go to work and stuff, and I don't know if I just couldn't or I just didn't know where to go to get into Rotterdam. But if you actually look back on the main page, it takes you into a play screen, and then you can actually pick from there where you want to actually play. So what I ended up doing was looking at a list of the servers, and it says game modes. There's airborne, there's breakthrough, and then the maps of Narvik and Rotterdam were there. So I did it the old-fashioned way, just looking at a list of servers and stuff like that. So jumping into Rotterdam, this is an interactive map that you're very familiar with if you play Battlefield 1, which is I think is actually a pretty cool little thing. So you're playing here right at the riverside. There's 4 different capture points, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Yeah, there's 4 different capture points, 2 HQs on either side. Oh, I'm sorry, no, there's 5. I didn't see the E way over there. A is one thing you want to look at for A is it's actually on the railway. It has 2 different levels, and it's a pretty big area. So most of the time you'll be fighting people up on the top level where the actual sub or the railway is, where the cars are. There's a place down below where there's a lot of there's big open streets. There's stairs leading up to the upstairs. So this is one thing that you're gonna have to keep a lookout for. So if you can't find an enemy, he'll probably be underneath you, underneath the actual bridge or the overpass. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Now there is huge amounts of firefights. Oh my goodness! And actually all over this map, it's just C is not as much. There wasn't as much conflict as the other points like A, B, D, and E. A, yeah, you have a lot of firefights. B is where you're gonna have most of your fights going on. D is another intense place. So on this map, you gotta really look out for it. There's a lot of places that you can actually go in through. And it's not like Amiens, where I think that's the one I'm thinking about, where there's a big cathedral off in the background, and the train actually goes, the behemoth, goes right through the middle of the map. I think it is Amiens, but it's not like that, where there's only certain places that you can kind of sneak into. There is a lot of places you gotta watch out for here, because people will sneak around. I had a group, and let me see if I can find the video. If I can't, I'm sorry about that, but there was a group that was riding around on some sort of little fast buggy or one of those armored half tracks that it's not a tank. It looks kind of like a truck, but the top is cut off, and there's a machine gun at the top. He was running around. He would go right through A, and then come back around the left side of the map over to B. So they were hiding out over here in the left corner of B. It's like a big building or a hotel. I can't remember exactly what it is, but they're hiding out back there, and they're capturing, and there's just a ton of firefights at B. So I mean, it makes for great fun. But the only thing I have an issue with, and this is one thing, why I kind of want to make this video, is like what to look out for. In B, inside the hotel or that building, there's 2 staircases, one on either side of the entrances. There's 3 entrances. One is facing the river. One is facing off to the left where all the other buildings are, and then the other door is facing off to D, which seeing a lot of videos from a lot of these popular YouTubers, a lot of people are overlooking from B to D, and that's where they're doing a lot of their fighting. Now along the street from B to D, there's a big place where a lot of tanks will actually be rolling through there, so you'll probably want to lay some mines and get that done. But yeah, like I was saying, oh my goodness, these guys were sinking around the back on the left part of B, and hopefully I could get some video footage for you guys and show you where exactly the firefights were. But in that building, there's going to be a lot of fighting. In A, and let me go back to that. In A, which is right next to the British spawn points, A is just a highly contested place where you have to look out for. There's 3 different lanes, let me explain it kind of like this. Yeah, it's 3 or 4 different lanes. You can fight inside of the cars, so you have to watch out for people running through the cars. But if you got a good sniper rifle, you got a good trigger finger, you can actually get people, because you can see quite a distance through 5 or 6 different cars. So it's almost the distance of the whole part. But you do have to watch out for people sneaking around the bottom and coming up through the stairs and stuff. The stairs is actually a good place for you guys to overlook people and maybe even pick them off if they're coming in through C, going upstairs or going towards the trains itself. It's a good place to stand and get, you know, pretty good kills. Now, let me skip over to, I didn't do a whole lot of fighting on C, but E is a sneaky little place where, you know, if you're the British, you can actually sneak over there pretty easily. If you go all across the railway, there's a way for you to sneak inside the buildings that are right to the left of E. There's a good way to sneak in there. You can go downstairs. There's actually, it looks like, I don't think it actually is, but it's like a metro. It's 2 different levels to E also, which is pretty cool. I like that. I like the fact that they're, you know, doing 2 different levels to capture the place. So that's actually something I like a lot. So you can sneak through the buildings and go capture E, and there's a place right underneath. It looks like a little archway where people can walk through. No vehicles can get through there, but there's a ammo dump, I think. There's a place where you can pick up your ammo. And that's one, actually, that's one, I should have said this from the beginning, and I meant to say this from the beginning. When you first jump into these games, there's ammo crates and there's medic pouches. Go ahead and get yourself some. If you're not a medic, then you definitely need to visit the at least these pouches and get them and pick them up for yourself, because you're gonna actually need it. I don't know if I like that idea in the game. I do like it because you don't have people sitting around having an infinite amount of weapons and you know, bullets and grenades and stuff like that. But I don't like it because it emphasizes a teamwork, which is really good. But most of the time, your medics and your people are just gonna fly right by you. Even though you can make so much points, you can do so good in the game itself if you're throwing out medic pouches, if you're helping people revive them and stuff. So that's one aspect I don't like of it, because you actually have to rely on other people. But you know, most of the time in multiplayer, you can't really rely on your teammates all that much, especially if they're complete strangers. Now, yeah, so these are some good little firefights, little tidbits where you can actually fight. D is going to be a place. Now, if you look at D and you look off to the left towards the river, there's a little corner over there. A lot of snipers like hanging out in that area. One thing that just frustrated me when I was jumping in is like I kept getting shot. I was looking in one direction, I kept getting shot from behind, from the left, and I could not enjoy it, because I'm like, okay, I just jumped in here. So that's why I kind of want to make these videos so you guys can know a little bit better. So off to the right of D, towards the river, there's a place where people like to camp. A lot of snipers actually like to get in that area. So yeah, Amiens, this is an upgrade from that. Like I said, you have so many different places that you can sneak into. And let me go back to that point where there's train tracks and there's a derailed train over there by D. I don't know if you can see that clearly on the map. There's a way you can sneak into D and to E. Yeah, plenty of cover. You're gonna have you know, CQB combat going on there. But yeah, you should have a little bit of fun with that. I'll probably go back and just explain some of the firefights that a lot of places that I've been seeing that take place. Now, another thing I want to jump into with you guys is when you actually get, you know, when you actually die in the game, you're gonna get this screen right here that says you can't spawn on your squad. Well, it says it's under fire, so you can actually see he's in a little bit of danger, so you can't jump into that situation now. One of the things I don't like is that when you're bleeding out, you have to hold left trigger. If there's no one around you and no one's going to be able to revive you, then I think it just takes entirely way too long to finish, you know, bleeding out or whatever, and then getting to this screen right here. Now, you can either revive on this person with the same class that you just had. If you're satisfied with it, go for it. You like his position, you're going to help him out, go for it. Or you can push B to get back to the interactive menu, which will let you spawn, let you pick your new class and stuff like that. But that's one of the things I didn't like. You know, you might be bleeding out. You might be asking, well, what's going on? I don't know what I'm supposed to do right here. Well, you know, you'll be looking at if you get a good squad, you can actually tell your people, hey, look, you know, or he just got me. He's running around the corner to the right or something like that. You can tell them exactly where their position is. But I just think it just takes entirely too long to go ahead and bleed out and then get to this position, and then you still have to wait. If you've been getting killed quite often, you have to wait like 5, 7, 9 minutes. I'm sorry, not 9 minutes, but 9 seconds. And I just think it takes a little bit too long. But that's one of the things I wanted to point out to you guys. You guys will see a little bit of what's going on here with you know, what to expect. So yeah, if you jump in here, you can look at that. You're going to have an option to cry out for help, which both options, if you're wanting to hurry up and get spawned again, or if you're crying out for help, they will both hurry your your little death meter along. So you keep that in mind. You can actually just leave it alone, and it takes a little bit longer, and you can actually point out where the enemies are, and it'll take you to this little screen where it looks at your whole squad mates and stuff and see where they're doing, what they're up to. Yeah, so it's gonna take you back to the spawn screen, and you can pick a new location, pick a new weapon, and I think next we're gonna go ahead and jump into weapon upgrades and weapons and what they look like. If you guys want, I'll go into more detail. I'm just gonna kind of go over this really quickly because of the fact that the video is gonna be a little bit longer now. So if you want me to go into more detail with this part, I'm just gonna kind of skip over it real quick so you guys can see there's a difference between your company and the armory. Armory is actually more for like skins and looks. Now, just to go in there quickly, armory is basically you have all the same types of camos for every single weapon that you have in your inventory. So it could be a sniper rifle, it can be a combat, medic's rifle. It'll be all the same camos for it. So I'll probably show that here in a little bit. But where you want to do your upgrades are going to be in your company. So your company, which is actually a really cool little screen, it brings up the British soldiers. It looks like this is the assault class, which is the default. It would just jump right to your default class, and you can actually see different three different segments: your foot soldiers, your tanks, and then your airplanes. So yeah, going into here, this is a place where you're going to do all your upgrades. And like I said, armory is just going to be, I was a little bit confused on it. Armory is just going to be the skins and stuff. So this is where you want to look at your different weapons. This is the STG. This is a standard rifle for the assault class. And this is, you're going to have to level up your weapon. You're going to have to level it up and start where you can actually start putting some upgrades. So the Grenadier, which is a default assault class, is battle hardened. So you actually get more health when you're in a combat situation more than anyone else, so you'll recover more health than anyone else. And then you want to jump into here. It's going to be your upgrades, customization, and then more weapons. You have 4 different classes of weapons for the assault class, and I've unlocked the Gewehr 43, so I kind of like that one. I started having to try to get used to it, but once you figure it out, you can pop the it's a semi-automatic weapon. This actually turns out to be a pretty decent weapon, and just wanted to show you some of the customization. So right off the bat, you're gonna have for almost every single class, you're gonna have 3 different types of with scopes and sights, how it's called here: reflex, aperture, or medium scope for this weapon. And basically, you're going to be able to do this for every single one of your classes. And yeah, you're going to have fun with this because I think actually the screen looks really nice. It's really good looking. Layout and stuff. It looks really clean, it looks really detailed, and you can see here I'm just kind of going through a lot of the different stuff, like medic class. The Stein is a default weapon, which is actually a pretty cool weapon. I like that one. Very historical, just a historical buff, and I love that weapon right there. It reminds me a lot of the Tommy gun, but I guess that's where it spawned its ideas from. So I'm just kind of looking at the different stuff, and I'm going to go through it quickly. Like I said, if you guys want me to go in more detail, I'll make specific videos just for the camos and the weapons itself. So I'm going to go through here, and I'll probably go into, I like sniping, so I'm just going to have a look at that real quick, and I'll probably start upgrading some of the stuff in here just to show you guys. I've already started upgrading some of the stuff, and this is the default character. You can't actually change the appearances of your characters right now, but this is the default weapon that you get in the game, Lee Enfield number 4 Mark 1. So I started going in here. I've already leveled it up to level 5, as you guys can see, and I'm going to start purchasing. This is how you upgrade your weapons. Now every single weapon is going to have this little type of tree. You're going to have to pick, either you're going to go one way or you're going to go the other way. So I suggest just looking at everything and saying, well, that fits me a lot better. And you can actually purchase a different weapon for free. And now in the beta, it's actually for free, so you can purchase this same weapon and then start upgrading it the opposite direction. So in the game, it doesn't cost you anything to actually get it. So no in-game currency is gonna cost you. So I'm just gonna go ahead and improve my moving accuracy, and then just kind of looking at some of the. All right, so yeah, I think that's gonna be about it for the video. I didn't want to make it too long. I I know sometimes the videos start to get a lot longer than anticipated. But another thing I wanted to point out is with R1 or the right bumper, you can actually spot people. Now, spotting in this game is just a little bit different. You can't actually spot a person unless it's a vehicle. I've been having a really hard time with spotting people. So instead, this little yellow icon comes up and it tells people, okay, there's certain danger here in this location. But if you spot someone one place, they run off in a different direction, then you have to kind of like follow their footsteps and let people know where they're going. So it's a little bit cumbersome. I didn't like it. People didn't spot enough in the Battlefield 1 game, and especially now towards the end of its shelf life, when a lot of new folks are coming in and playing the game. They just don't do a good job of spotting. So this new spotting system, I don't like it, but maybe you will. Yeah, so I think that's going to be about it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you liked it. Leave a comment asking me if you want to look at all these camos and different weapons and different loadouts and all of the upgrades and stuff. I can definitely do that for you guys. I just kind of wanted to put a video together just so you know exactly what to expect. I'm the type of person that, like back in the day when you bought a game, it came with an instruction manual, and I would just look at the instruction manual and look at all the pictures and stuff like that. I just kind of want to have a good idea of what I'm looking at instead of just being thrown out there. Kind of like my first game, I was thrown out there. I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do? What's going on? And yeah, I just kind of want to give you guys a better idea of what is happening in the game. Anyway, guys, I'm going to be going ahead and signing out. If you guys enjoyed it, like I said, leave a thumbs up for me. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. I will see you when I see you.